I'm sure the viewers would appreciate some privacy.
We receive you in the background.
Of course you do. Always and forevermore.
If we stole our kid for 12 years, we're the ones who are allowed to be
Always and forever.
I mean, it was
She's brainwashed by him. She doesn't know what she wants.
Possibly. She still has feelings of blame and resentment that she has to process. Right now, you're still strangers to her.
You won't let him go in there and be her parent.
Mic check. All right. All right. Here we go. Every game, every era, every fan. You're listening to Squad Sportcast. 4 brothers, 1 mic, all sports. Ladies and gentlemen, before we announce the results of the Crash King, we like to give a huge shout out to all of you guys. The likes, the comments, the shares, the subscribes, the support basically on our last episode helped it become a great success. You guys showed up in a big way, and that helped the episode become a massive success. Because of that overwhelming support, the emergency committee didn't even need to step in. It's crazy. The fans made their voices loud and clear. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The votes were counted, recounted, and the dust settled in. Standing at the top, still wearing his crown, and still holding the title, your reigning, defending, undisputed, back-to-back champion again, Mr. Jordan Woodard. Like to shout you out back-to-back yet again. I don't know how you keep winning these things. It's crazy work. I don't know. But since you have the title this week, Jordan, you have the next 30 seconds on the floor.
You're on mute.
See, this is how he won a Crash King title. Man, it ain't up. Jordan, you're on mute. You know that, right?
Okay, I like the back-to-back wins, no Drake, but I think I might win it again. I might three-peat, no Michael Jordan, because this free agency talk, it got me upset. Some of it got me upset. We gonna talk as Eagle fans. We got a problem.
What we got a problem for? Why you putting problems on me? Listen, I dealt with problems all day at work today. I ain't got no problems. I'm here to tell you. I got 99 problems. NFL free agency ain't one of them. But since we on the topic of NFL free agency, it is that time of the offseason, the NFL free agency. And when that clock struck 12 noon, the chaos and madness began. Speaking of madness, literally fresh off the books, breaking news, you're going to hear it here first from Squad Sportcast. The Max Crosby trade has been officially rescinded. It is back to its sender. Max Crosby is technically still a Las Vegas Raider. With that being said, we got a whole lot of stuff that's out there. Outside of that, first things first, we're going to deal with the blowout from the Max Crosby trade. First things first, they did back out. It was 2 firsts for Max Crosby. They just pulled it back among medical issue concerns. So, want to get the guys' intake on this first and foremost before we get into the rest of the craziness of the draft. So, who wants to lead off?
I can lead off. It's fine. So we're talking free agency, yeah?
Yes, sir.
So, one, I think the Ravens made a mistake by rescinding the Max Crosby deal. They already knew he was coming off of injury. That was kind of the whole. That was kind of the whole point, you know. And 2 firsts. Those firsts were both expected to be late first. They were actually probably projected to be Super Bowl champs by getting him. So it might have been a pick, middle of the first, and then a late first, like a 32nd pick. That combination should have not even been enough to get a guy like Max Crosby, that level of talent. But what I think is going to be their loss is going to be either the Patriots or Lions gain. Those teams have the cap space. They have the need at that position. On top of that, they like to make the splash moves. They're trying to be relevant. The Commanders as well, but they just gave Odafe away 100 mil. I bet you had they known Crosby was available, they wouldn't have gave Odafe that money. Um, Either way, I think that was probably one of the surprises there. One of the other surprises to me, I like Malik Willis to the Dolphins. I thought that was kind of a no brainer there. Tua to the Falcons still made sense to me. I still think there may have been other places for him that might have made sense. I think everybody's saying that Kyler Murray is going to go to the Vikings. So it looks like the Steelers are going to be stuck with Aaron Rodgers again, back to their 4-12 version of the season, which is going to be great because Jordan's going to have to not only shave his entire head, his girlfriend's head, his cat's head, but his gopher's head as well. It's going to get pretty crazy.
11-6.
So that being said, I really liked the Alec Pierce resigning from the Colts. I think that they really needed to do that. That's probably one of the smartest moves they could have done. Romeo Dobbs going to the Patriots. I don't know that he moves the needle so much. He replaces Stefan Diggs, but I don't know if he's a true number one. I think he's a really strong number two. And they have a number two there, technically number three, really. So he's a strong number two. I think they're still going to need to go receiver in the draft. The team that I was kind of most proud of was a couple of them. I thought that the Browns revamped their entire offensive line, which they needed to do, can hopefully protect Shador Sanders or, Deshaun Watson 3 years off of being good. Either way, they should be a better team than they were. Um, and then the Cowboys actually look smart for once by tagging Pickens because he only got 23.5 mil and Pierce got 30 mil and Pickens is much better than Pierce. Um, and then I did think that the Steelers actually did a good move by getting that corner from the Bucks, Jamel Dean. He gets injured every season, but I do think that was still a smart move for them, right? I actually really liked their pickup of the running back from the Panthers as a number two to go along with Warren. I thought that made a lot of sense, and I really thought that the trade of Michael Pittman made a lot of sense for them, especially for a late round capital. The funniest one to me though was definitely Geno Smith back to the Jets. That cracked me up because he had that whole meme about they, they wrote me off and I ain't write back. Well, now wrote back, sent the stamp, sent the postcard, and express mailed it. Now you're back in the building, and if you lose the job to Justin Fields, well, your career is immediately over. So, hope Gino doesn't, do something silly like that, which would be pretty wild there. But the Raiders actually made quite a few good moves, and I think that they set themselves up for Fernando Mendoza to be great. The move that was the biggest head scratcher to me, Tyler Linderbaum, which I thought was a fantastic pick, the number one center coming in. He signed a contract that was 150% higher than any other center contract that had ever been signed. I thought that was pretty wild. But it seemed like it was a move out of desperation. Sometimes you have to overpay in order to get somebody when you don't really have a lot going on with your team. And the Titans were some big spenders as well. Yeah, so I'm interested to see what happens this year. I think that a lot of these things will impact fantasy. And yeah, that's the main thing I had there. I could probably talk free agency all day, but I don't want to take too much of the time. So Jordan, go ahead, brother.
All right. So I just think it's interesting that Max Crosby jumped a gun when it came to putting his photos up. Whoever did the Photoshop for this was really dope. I mean, he was already ready to get out of Vegas and go to the Ravens, and now all of a sudden this happens. Had his own podcast and everything, and now all of a sudden, whoops, that's not happening. I'm not sure if they could spin the block with this trade, or it might be just pretty much done. Kind of disappointing. If the knee injury was already there should have been some disclosure regarding that. I think teams should do themselves a diligence and have injuries known before all of these trades come up, because it'll save you time and it'll save you also humiliation if from these trades bouncing back. Not the biggest fan of that. I guess one of my bigger surprises regarding trades. I mean, Tua to the Falcons wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, Tua's on a very budget friendly deal. It's a $99 million cap hit for the Dolphins, so he's going to get that money. He's he's not gonna feel bad about it. I think one of the bigger trades was, I would say, Malik Willis to the Dolphins, because he finally gets his place to shine. I don't think he's gonna lose against Quinn Ewers. I think it's Quinn Ewers as the quarterback there. I don't think he's gonna lose that. So, but his receiving core is gonna need some work because Tyreek Hill ain't coming back. Jalen Waddle as a one I don't trust that much. They're gonna need some extra options. Tight end and running back, I'm not worried about. A-Chain is gonna be a fantasy god come the next year again. Jalen Waddle is still a sharp two, but a flexy-ish one. Um, I like the David Montgomery to the Texans. It gives them a solid running back. They've been topsy-turvy with the running back core for quite some time. So I think having a consistent one that's not injured, one that's not on vacation all the time, a consistent one, along with CJ Stroud, hopefully it gives them some continuity on offense because their defense is already on another level. And they got Reed Blankenship. They sunk the Eagles Blankenship. Yes, they did. I hate that. The Eagles, I got some smoke for you coming up. Go Birds still, but I got some smoke for y'all. Texans really did some good work. So Commanders overpaid again. The Jets, I don't know why the hell they put Geno Smith back in that situation. It was a whole lot of just mess, but as we know, the better trades and deals happen later in free agency rather than the beginning. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Like I did y'all last episode, y'all did such great work covering a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm gonna come with this real stuff. So first things first, we got scary times in Kansas City. Because we need to talk about this this K9 transition to Kansas City. It immediately makes them a superstar contender for the AFC when Patrick Mahomes comes back. So it's going to be very scary times. Pacheco now moves to Detroit, which makes it another one. It gives them back their 1-2 punch. So it's just all up on the coach, making sure that he gets the points where it matters.
And kicks field goals instead of fourth downs. But
that's what I just said. That's what I just said, Joey.
Okay.
Come on, pay attention, man. Pay attention.
Okay,
Stay with me, man.
sure. I'm just making sure because you know that the habits.
I don't like what Atlanta has been doing. If I'm going to be fair, I don't like what Atlanta is doing. Out of all the trades that they made and the signings that they made, I don't like what Atlanta is doing. When I saw the Tua trade, I literally was sitting around. I was asking why. There's no point. There's no reason to it. Like, you don't have, and let me turn this Hawaii hat over because I don't need this right now. Y'all already know what time it is. It's go time. I have no idea what Atlanta is doing. You just grabbed one of the most injury-prone quarterbacks ever in history. The Dolphins, yes, they're paying most of his contract, and I understand what the rationale is. But overall, the offensive line and the trenches are completely the same. Just about. They can't hold water. And you're going to put Tua from one end of purgatory to another end of purgatory. Because who's going to protect that man? Now, he obviously gets an upgrade at running back with Bijan Robinson. But to be fair, that's about it. Because, technically, he has an upgrade at wide receiver because Tyreek Hill is not playing for the Dolphins. So we're comparing Drake London to Jalen Waddle. It is kind of an upgrade, just saying.
So and the Falcons also have made history having the first quarterback tandem to be left-handed.
I guess that works too.
It hasn't happened before, but Tua and Michael Penix Jr. are both left-handed quarterbacks. Never been done in history before. So That's something.
Either way, if we look at all of the trades that are going through, honestly, to be fair, I think Chicago's making good moves. Panthers are making some great moves. You know, they grabbed Jalen Phillips, so that should do something for him. I probably would not have paid them 120 million, but we're going to see what happens. You know how Philly is. Philly makes people look good. Gardner Mishues with Arizona, which is a head scratcher right there. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, Las Vegas is probably going to get bro with the number 1 pick. So it makes sense. The quarterback pool isn't that healthy. So at the end of the day, it's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of teams are not going to get their quarterback that they need. But I'm going to be fair. If we're handing out grades, the top team, I think, honestly, based off of trades, so far, give me Las Vegas.
Trades or free agency?
Free agency. Like, if we're grading their free agency, like if we were handing out grades, I think I would give the top grade to Las Vegas, because the Raiders, we've already talked about this before, they're just supposed to be like relevant as far as not being in the top 10 draft picks. Like if they're picking in the middle of the draft in 2027, then they've done a great job. Like that's where their ceiling is. But clearly they're trying to do more. They're trying to make the playoffs. So we're going to let them be great, and we're going to see how this ends up. Because with them getting Mendoza, they're going to need some help. And they honestly need a veteran presence. And I don't know if sending Geno Smith back to the Jets is what's going to be it. But, Mike, you actually get Rico Dowdle to the Steelers. So even if you do have Aaron Rodgers still throwing, you got a lot going on. I think I'll get Michael Pittman Sr. So that's a great upgrade as far as receiving core.
I agree. I think we might be up to 5 wins now.
Oh my God.
Just enough for Jordan to start having to shave strangers' heads outside as well.
1 win of 11.
Get your Clippers ready.
Like I said, y'all can figure that stuff out later. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest shocker for me is Mike Evans to the 49ers. They kind of make makes their pick, their team relevant in the NFC, because now they have a true number 1 receiver, albeit he is he's probably older than Aaron Rodgers. I know he's not. Don't come for me in the comments, y'all. I know he's not. But still, having Mike Evans coming back from a torn collarbone injury, but he's coming back from injury. I think they're paying this man hella money. But at the end of the day, I don't know if that's the key for them to actually win. Like, if you were going to do all that, sign Tyreek Hill, who still doesn't have a team, by the way. Scary hours if Philly gets him. Howie Roseman. I don't know. You're going to have to restructure that contract. But scary hours. I'm just saying. Titans are spending money. I think if we're giving an F on grades, I'm sorry. I have to give it
to the Eagles for losing so many talent
To Dallas.
in free agency.
No, I'm not giving it to the Eagles, because at the end of the day, you got to understand, we weren't primed to keep all of those players. Like, you are smoking the best crack in the world if you thought we were keeping Jalen Phillips, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Michael Carter Sr., Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, N'Kobe Dean, Jahai Campbell. If you thought we was keeping all of them and none of those pieces was going away, that's got to be the best crack ever that you're smoking, bro. The Eagles ain't got that much money to keep everybody. I'm here to tell you right now, they're not keeping all of those pieces. It worked out because they were on rookie deals and they were able to make some stuff shake while they were paying their offensive players. But now you got to pay those defensive players. And it sucks. And we talked about this at the beginning of our even starting this segment that prime years were wasted trying to figure out who was the best fit for this Philly offense and like this Philly team. Like we hired, like I said, Kevin Patullo, who couldn't coach middle school football because he's calling Madden 2020, not even 2020. He's calling Madden 2001 plays. Who was the other one? Brian Johnson. That was a waste of a season. So like at the end of the day, it's a lot that falls on that offense because that offense was not playing to the potential that it needed to be. So those were years that were wasted. But if we're giving an F, I'm giving it to, I guess I'll give it to the Cardinals right now, because even though you're sort of boasting your line, not really, because who's throwing the ball? Who's receiving the ball? And then you still have the whole thing with Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, what's up with bruh? Because he can't catch a cold, he can't catch COVID, he can't catch nothing right now. Like, what's going on with that man? We'll figure that out later. But that's, I think, a great start to see. Oh, by the way, I'll give it to you guys on who do you think deserves the top grades and who deserves an F for absolutely bombing the draft. Mike, you led off, so I'll let you lead off on this one as well.
For bombing the draft hasn't happened yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, free agency. I'm sorry.
All right. So for me, as far as winners of the draft, I mean, not you got me saying draft. Winners of free agency. Um, I surprisingly want to give credit to the Cowboys. And I'm not a Cowboys fan in any capacity, but I think it was a shrewd move for them trading and getting Rashawn Gary before the market uh, indicated that he should get 25 or 28 million and getting him for 18 million. I think it was a smart move to franchise tag Pickens, getting him at 23 million instead of the 30 million or 32 million that he would have got in free agency. Um, they still have some obvious holes on their team, but they did. They also got a safety that I think actually be pretty good on their team as well, and they signed a corner as well, and they needed a corner to replace old buddy that got dismissed, Trayvon Diggs. So I think that surprisingly to me, they seem to have won free agency so far. It would have been the Ravens, but this rescinding of the trade definitely threw things off completely. You know. Um, and then as far as the losers of the free agency, I do still think that the Eagles lost free agency, and I respect your point. I do think that it was unreasonable for them to get all those players and keep all those players, but I do think that they needed to pick up more depth pieces to replace the ones that they just lost. I know they're going to have a great draft. Howard Roseman's been great in the draft and been moving in the draft for a while. I think that they may still be in play for somebody like a Max Crosby, in which case they'd go from losing the free agency to immediately winning free agency, just because I think he's the type of wheeler and dealer that would see the value in trading two late first for a player of that caliber. Um, I think that the Raiders made a couple of good moves, as I said, but I kind of got the middle of the pack because they overpaid Linderbaum, as I was mentioning there before. I think that the Bears, if I'm not mistaken, actually made a couple of good moves there as well. But probably, honestly, the biggest loser in free agency, I'm going through it in my mind here now, is probably the Chargers, because the Chargers re-signed Khalil Mack as their big move, right? And then I think they made one move in free agency. I think they had more needs than that. I don't believe in Quentin Johnston. Their tight end play is subpar. They still need help on the offensive line. I know they got Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt coming back, but I think that they needed, some more pieces there to really put themselves in a position to overcome in the very competitive AFC West. Um, I also think that, I also think that the Rams won free agency because of the trades that they made. In essence, they just took Kansas City's cornerbacks and just said, "Hey, you know what? They would be champions over here." So I thought that was a pretty interesting takeaway. But they have a very stout team. The NFC West is still going to be competitive. Um, the Seahawks probably are losers of the free agency as well. Unfortunately, I know they're defending Super Bowl champions. You don't want to disrespect them, and I know that they know what they're doing. But they lost Tariq Woolen. They lost Boye Mafe. They re-signed Rashid Shaheed, which didn't really seem necessary based upon what it is that they needed for their team. They didn't get better on the offensive line. Their offensive line was pretty good, but they didn't get better at the offensive line. They lost Kenneth Walker. I don't know what identity they're building post Super Bowl run. So that's kind of my takeaways there. But I'll pass it back to y'all.
All right. So as I'm looking at some of the potential or the actual free agency moves, I will say I can't believe I have to do this. I have to give credit to Dallas. Jalen Phillips set the bar and also set the defensive positions back because I think it was 50 mil. I think he got or something close to that, like 120 mils. Oh, I forgot what was his contract? If you could look up,
Contract is 4 years, 120.
okay, yeah, 4 years, 120. That is setting the bar kind of high for defensive players. And now teams are going to have to match that for any star defensive player in the future. So franchises are going to be very iffy to trade those big players for the big money or sign players for money like that in the future. I think it's a nice pickup for the Panthers, but they did good. And the Cowboys getting Rashawn Gary, outside of that deal for less than 30 mil was pretty smart. I don't like the fact that they made pick a franchise tag receiver, but he's still their one, and he's gonna create some havoc. Now, surprisingly enough, I didn't look at his stats as much in depth as I did before, but I think the Eagles won that free agency for the first couple of days. They got Tariq Woolen. He a shut down corner. Stats don't look pretty. He may not get interceptions, but that's because quarterbacks ain't throwing his way. You got Quintanamo Bay on one side, you got Coop in the back, and you got now Reek on that side. Good luck throwing the ball.
And Michael Carter.
Yep.
We
Good
got
luck.
Michael Carter too.
And we still have Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. They haven't gone anywhere. Good luck. Our defense has remained intact. Our offense still is going to need work. And Romeo Doubs going to the Patriots, which is a nice ad for them, is a good sign for us because that means A.J. Brown, you're not going to command that much money. Your best bet is to water the grass that you're in. Keep that grass green. Stay here in New England. We'll take care of you. We've been taking care of you. We're going to take care of you. He got a ring with us. Remember? So, yeah, you're good here. Stay here. I think the Eagles won the fantasy. Not fantasy. Wow. I'm thinking too far ahead. Eagles won free agency for the first week. I think the Ravens lost with this Max Crosby veto.
Wait. Did you just say that the Eagles won free agency?
So for the first week, we're not talking about
How?
week 2, 3,
You
4,
lost
5,
7
6.
players. How did you win free agency?
We have one player that's a shutdown corner, and that was one of our weaknesses because Adoree Jackson was a corner. Remember?
It was a bum.
Rick Woolen got cooked all last season.
Adoree Jackson. There was nothing adorable about him. He was a liability in the backfield.
Listen,
Yes.
all I'm going to tell you is that your bias is showing in regards to saying that they won free agency. I will concede.
No,
that
I
maybe
looked
they
at
didn't
his.
lose
I
it,
looked
but
at
I don't know
Tariq
that they
Woolen's
won
stats.
it. That sounds like a lot.
No, I looked at Tariq Woolen's stats. He's one of the few corners that could shut anybody's receiver down. Less than one possession per game, they'll throw to him.
He's tall, yes, but he got cooked most of last season, and he's terrible in coverage. He's actually better as a press defender because of his height. They should put him at safety. If they put him at safety, he'd be fantastic. But at corner, he's actually not really that good. That's why the Seahawks let him go. I don't
It
hate
was a
him as a
money thing.
cornerback too, because you
It
have
was
such
a
talent
it
there.
was money with
You can
that
hide
was the
him,
reason.
but yeah,
No, money was the
money
reason that
somewhat,
they
not
didn't
really. I mean,
keep
they could
him.
have paid him if they wanted to. But my point is that that's the reason he only got a 1 year, $15 million deal. If he was the man like Trent McDuffie is the man, he would have got $30 million a season. He got a 1 year, $15 million deal. He's a cornerback
Howie
too.
don't operate like that though, and you know this. Howie doesn't operate like
I
that.
can't agree with that. He just gave a record deal to Jordan Davis. He
He
also
gave a
gave
record deal to
record deals
Jordan
to
Davis
AJ
because
Brown. He also gave record deals to Jalen Hurts. He also gave record deals to Lane Johnson. He also gave record deals to Malata. He also gave, I can keep going. He gave record
you
deals to
can
everybody
you
except
can keep
the
going,
cornerback that
but
you just signed
again,
in free agency to say that you won free agency. Saying that you won free agency first week, first day, first whatever, I think is a wild take. No disrespect. But to
I
have
think
won it,
Jordan's
wow,
wilding as well. I
a
think
little
Jordan's
wild.
wilding as well. But here's the thing: there's only one player out of all those you mentioned that Howie traded for and gave him the bag. Guess who that player is?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. You're absolutely correct. AJ Brown. So at the end of the day, AJ Brown was the only player that Howie traded for and gave the bag to. Remember, he traded for Jalen Phillips and sent him out. He traded for Nnamdi Asomugha, whoever the hell he is. Y'all already know I don't know how to say that man's name, but he was a bum and he got out of there ASAP. We traded
Yeah.
for
Oh
all
yeah,
of these
Nandi
players.
Asamoah. He was supposed to be good from the Raiders, I believe, but it never panned out.
Like how we learned from all of those terrible, terrible trades and draft picks and learn how to get these players on 1 year deals. That's the whole magic about Howie Roseman. That is Howie Houdini out here. We got to put respect on that man's name. Howie Houdini. He gets players on 1 year deals and then he lets them go into our system. They're great in our system, and then we use that as leverage to get more capital, get more picks, so that way we can still continue to get young talent and continue to do the things we are. Now keep in mind, I'm with Mike on this. Jordan, you wildin'. Because ain't no way
When
first
have I
week,
not?
and you still say the Eagles are the top grade?
No, when have
You
I not
wildin',
been
bro.
wilding with my picks? And when have
Bro,
they
you
not been
wildin'.
true?
You wildin'.
When have they
I don't
not
want
been
to hear it. You
true?
wildin'.
This
So
time they
come
ain't
on.
true. There's a lot of
When have
times,
they not been true? So
especially when
I
it comes to
mean,
football.
I mean,
Especially when it
so
comes to football.
you've been on point the last couple of weeks, but you
Yeah,
there
wildin'
have been
right
a
now.
couple of times
until we
where
started talking about
it
Justin
was
Fields. You know what? That's what
out
it
the
is.
field, but still.
You
But
haven't
I'm also gonna say that it's a 1 year deal, so it's a proven season. And proven seasons are usually good for those that want a big bag. And also, to Woolen's credit, Seattle's defense was relentless last year. They had numerous ways to kill you. So he wasn't going to have those stats that stood out to you, but he's still a shutdown corner. I know he was probably, I mean, ESPN said he was one of the most penalized, if not the most penalized corner in the league. But I think I think Vic Fangio can fix that with Quintana will be on that side and Coop in the backfield. Yeah, I think we won't have to worry about those problems as much. His error ratio will be lessened with us. And this is not me being super biased just because I'm an Eagles fan. This is just looking at what the need is. I think the Raiders, they got a lot of good players, but still there. I need to see it play out. Like on paper, it looks good, but everything on paper ain't always gonna play out the way it should be. So yeah, at the end of the day, go Birds still.
All right. Well, y'all already heard it here first. To the comment section we go. Y'all already know what y'all think. Y'all think Jordan is wilding, or y'all think Jordan on point? You think Mike wilding, or you think Mike on point? You think I'm wilding, or you think I'm on point? Gotta let us know. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. We are here for it. We responded to all the comments. Like I said, still think you wilding, Jordan, but it is what it is. So we're actually going to stay within the football realm for a little bit longer. We talked about the free agency, but let's talk about these hot seats, shall we? Because you got a whole lot of teams that have a whole lot of pressure. Mike was over here talking about the Cowboys. Jordan was talking about the Cowboys, but they were 7-9-1 last year and amidst a whole lot of controversy. And keep in mind, Dak Prescott just broke up with his fiance. So that man might have have some gas in the tank, a chip on the chip on his shoulder to prove. The Buffalo Bills. Mike's talked about this a lot with Josh Allen. The team has had double-digit wins for multiple seasons. However, they get to the playoffs and they always fall short. You also have teams that are looking at the San Francisco 49ers, who have had very deep playoff runs, but unfortunately has never finished the job. So now the question I'm trying to throw to the team tonight and the fellas, which NFL team is under the most pressure? And I'm going to start y'all off. I think the team with the most pressure right now is going to be, right now, even with the trade getting pulled back, the Baltimore Ravens. Here's why. Because with that Max Crosby trade getting rescinded for God knows whatever reason, I think puts you on the hot seat even with the first of a new head coach. And because even without him, you technically have one of the best constructed rosters on paper. And it hasn't led anywhere. So now with all of the head coaching and firing and hiring, I think pressure is not only on Baltimore to get relevant again. I think it's time for Baltimore to get to a Super Bowl. Because now at this point, even like I said, without Max Crosby, Lamar Jackson has to get to a Super Bowl. It's the same thing for Josh Allen, but I think when you look at it more, Baltimore has a more complete roster than the Buffalo Bills. And honestly, it's more pressure on Lamar than it is Josh Allen. Even though I think both of them have the same amount of MVPs, more pressure is going to be on. Lamar got the edge still. He got one more. All right. Thanks, Mike. So it makes it even worse. Lamar has 2 MVPs versus Josh Allen's 1. So with that being said, Lamar has to start showing up in games that matter. Like we all get the kicker miss, but it's always something with Baltimore. This year is the kicker missed the field goal. Last year it was Mark Andrews' hands was for decoration, but we not gonna let you get away with that fumble, Lamar, because you had like that 30-yard fumble that helped Buffalo get up within 7. So we not gonna let you slide away with that one. But then even the year before that, and the 2 years before that, you had games where you were head-to-head with Kansas City, and you didn't play your game, Lamar. Your game was within your legs, and you never used it. You tried to outpass Patrick Mahomes in his prime. Like, y'all got to stop this. The hot seat right now for NFL teams is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. That's my pick. I'm sticking with it. Y'all can say what y'all want to. I'm passing it off. Whoever wants to take lead, y'all let me know.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. The team that's under the most pressure this season, I think it's the San Francisco 49ers. I think that they've made enough moves that they should be back in the Super Bowl. Their team is complete enough. They would be silly to let Trent Williams go. I know there are some trade talks going there. That would be silly on their end, especially with the pickup now of Mike Evans. I think all the pressure is on them. I don't think that they're going to win their division, though. I think the Rams are going to win that division. So I think that they're going to have an uphill battle there, but they have to be able to get over the hump. They've lost multiple close playoff games. They've won a lot of playoff games, but they've lost multiple close ones. I think we all wanted to have the success story of Brock Purdy winning it just so we can have another Tom Brady type of conversation, you know. But especially him being Mr. Irrelevant in the draft. But he's played much better than any Mr. Irrelevant has ever played in the history of the NFL. So I think pressure is on them now. Last year, the excuse was the injuries. They had a ton of injuries. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's between them and honestly the Lions. The Lions still need to be relevant. If Dan Campbell didn't, you know, apparently sacrifice his team in the fourth quarter, um, then his team would have won, you know. Uh, But in the fourth quarter, he's allergic to field goals. He's got that Benadryl syndrome where field goals are just they're terrifying. It's almost like um, as if he's scared to kick a field goal. I don't want to call him scared, right? Because this is a giant, person that'll bite ankles apparently, but he's scared to kick a field goal. So in the off chance that he decides to get over his fear and stop watching horror movies right before the game, then the Lions will definitely be relevant all over again. So those are my two, putting between the pressures between the Niners and the pressures between the Detroit Lions in regards to for next season. Jordan, go ahead.
All right, perfect. So you're gonna think this is so left field, but I think it's right on the shoe. I am personally thinking that the hot seat remains is going to be in Indiana. The Indianapolis Colts. I got them as the hot seat. Why? They've been gambling the last couple of years with their players, and they have always been iffy when it comes to quarterbacks. Yeah, Daniel Jones. They were on a run. They could have been having a Super Bowl season, but then he had that knee injury, then it turned to ACL. The Anthony Richardson experiment did not go well. I'm defending that. Jonathan Taylor is on the last year of his, I believe, his rookie contract or his current contract. So he's becoming a free agent in the upcoming season. They let go of Michael Pittman Jr. So Alec Pierce is going to be that one receiver. They're putting all their chips on the table and they're hoping that Daniel Jones returns back to that player that he was, Indiana Jones. I think it's more Eli Manning Jr., but they think he's Indiana Jones. I just think that even with the way their defense played, their offense still isn't going to put up enough to be formidable in the South, considering they had the Jaguars, considering they had the Texans, considering how the Titans have bolstered up their team with all the cap space they had. They're going to have one hell of a time trying to gain some traction for playoff contention next year. And I'm not sure what year this is for Shane Steichen, but I believe that if it's not this year or next year, he has 4 more years left.
No, I think this is his fourth year.
Fourth year?
Because he moved since 2022, that 2022-23 season, he went to, because that was when we went to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So 23-24 is his first season with the Colts. This should be his fourth season.
Yeah, if he doesn't do anything this season, he might get fired. So this is one of those gamble, put all your chips on the table, and if not, they're going to have to start over again. That's why I think the Colts, especially with how they crashed last year, because they were number one in the AFC for a while, and then everything just plummeted. It got so bad where they were, I think, 7-1 at one point. Houston, Texas were 3-5, and guess who won the division? Houston. So no, actually, no, Jacksonville. Sorry, my bad. Jacksonville 13-3. So they have they have some things they need to work out. I personally think they're in the hot seat.
I don't know. When you look at the Colts, I wouldn't blame their crash and burn too much. They also had injuries. You got to understand, they had injuries. And then they tried to right the ship by signing, because keep in mind, Sauce Gardner's over there now. So they tried to sign Sauce Gardner, but the injury to Daniel Jones might have been too much.
Did they
for
win
them to
any of their
overcome.
games with Phillip Rivers in the backfield?
Bruh,
No.
this is not Tom Brady out here. You're talking about Phillip Rivers. The man
They-
can't even pull out a parking garage, and you expect him to pull up and no, no,
He can't pull off.
no.
Never mind. I was gonna go somewhere. You know where I was gonna go, but I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, we gonna leave that alone.
This is a friendly sports show. But they gambled on Phillip Rivers, and that was a failure. They tried, but that's another reason why I think they're in the hot seat. They have so much potential to make noise in the AFC, but now this is one of those proven seasons. What are they going to do? Are they going to stick with Anthony Richardson? I think they're not. Who are they going to go with quarterback wise? Because Phillip Rivers is done.
Daniel Jones.
Is he going to recover in time for week 1?
They put the tag on him, so I mean, he may not start week 1 because keep in mind, I think it was ACL that was he blew his ACL, I believe, so he's not going to be ready week 1. But he's the quarterback of the future, whether you like to believe it or not. He's their future.
What was I thinking of?
You think of the Anthony Richardson?
Who was their rookie?
What did you know?
Well, last year Anthony Richardson was a second-year player.
No, they had another rookie.
At what position?
It was quarterback.
Riley Leonard.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Riley Leonard. Okay,
Yeah.
if that's the case, all hope is not lost, but they're still in the hot seat.
Here's what I think when we think about the Colts. I think Anthony Richardson does lose his job. I think they trade Anthony Richardson away between free agency and week 1. Like between now and week 1, Anthony Richardson will no longer be a Colt. They'll probably get like a 6th-round draft pick for him, kind of like how they did Geno Smith. And I think that might be the fairest market value for Anthony Richardson because let's be fair, he's a likable guy, and I'm not hating on the man, but like talent-wise, it's not working out in Indianapolis, and it's okay. But I do believe I see like a 5th or 6th round draft pick. They trade that away to get Anthony Richardson. So we'll see what happens as far as that. Also, I like to throw something out here, and I'm gonna make my man Jordan crash out. I think that the Eagles are on the hot seat. And matter of fact, let's go ahead and do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Eagles are on the hot seat. And here's why the Eagles are on the hot seat. Because your head coach has been to 2 Super Bowls, won 1 of them. Should have won 2, but we're going to let that slide. Matter of fact, we'll put that on him. He should have 2 Super Bowls right now. So not only did he fail to get that 2nd Super Bowl win, he hired 2 offensive coordinators that were arguably his guys that he promoted up because Johnson was his guy that they promoted up, and then Kevin Patullo was his guy that they promoted up, and both of them failed. Flatline, 0 doubt. Honestly, Sean Mannion might be his last resort. If that offense fails and we see a complete 2025 season again with this guy, Sean Mannion, I think we're seeing the last of the Nick Sirianni era, if that's the case. It's my hot take.
2 years
It is what it
from the
is.
Super Bowl, though. Are you
Yes.
serious?
I'm sorry. Do you know your Eagles history? Last time I recall, let me think. We had another Super Bowl winning head coach who didn't know how to use Jalen Hurts, who didn't know how to use the full potential of Carson Wentz, who didn't know how to even use them because he was using Jalen Hurts in a wildcat. He didn't know how to make adjustments. Keep in mind, they picked J.J. Arcega-Whiteside versus picking up Justin Jefferson. We could have had Justin Jefferson. So keep that in mind. their defense, even though it was the same bend and break mentality, it was nowhere along the lines of this. So at the end of the day, he didn't have a plan for the offense. And he was an offensively minded head coach. And if it wasn't for Nick Foles being the amazing guy that he was, we wouldn't have that Super Bowl. And we got rid of that head coach. So if I know something about history, they always say history repeats itself, right? So if we got rid of a Super Bowl winning head coach one time, we got rid of a person who been to a Super Bowl before. What makes you think it's not too far-fetched to get rid of this Super Bowl winning head coach? I'm just saying.
Considering the fact that I think we missed the playoffs only once under Nick Sirianni's tenure. It's either been wild card, Super Bowl, nothing.
We have not missed the playoffs in the entire tenure of Nick Sirianni.
Okay, so wild card was 21-22, Super Bowl, wild card, Super Bowl victory, wild card. So if history repeats itself, we spin the block back into the Super Bowl, right? With Nick Sirianni.
If history is correct. But again, as I just stated, if you waste another year of prime with A.J. Brown, with Jalen Hurts, with Devontae Smith, with Saquon Barkley, with Jordan Davis, who you just resigned, with Jalen Carter, with Quinyon Mitchell, with Cooper DeJean, with Reed Woolen, with Jahai Campbell. I mean, I could go on. Like, we could just list these people. The Philadelphia Eagles are the apex of the NFC. I know Seattle won. No disrespect to Seattle. Trust me, no disrespect. But again, if the Eagles cannot get over this 2025 hump, this whole hump of getting to the Super Bowl and it being complete, not even mid, it's like less than mid. It's just barely enough above like cheeks into that like cheek mid region. But it is what it is. But if that offense looks similar to 2025, Nick Sirianni got to go. It is what it is.
I think that we're going to be fine. I think personally that we're overreacting to last year. Our offensive line was not the best. It was actually one of the worst. I knew this from a couple of weeks in. I knew that our defense could carry us for a lot of the season. I knew that Jalen Hurts would find a way to win games in spite of our offensive line. I knew that if we lost, it would be because of the offensive line. And since that is a thing, I'm not going to lose sleep over anything going on regarding the Eagles. I'm not losing sleep.
I'm not losing sleep either, but I'm here to tell you right now, again, as I just stated, and I stand on this. First of all, you wildin' if you ever blame the offensive line for us losing that. Wildin'. Bro, we just determined what was the answer. The reason why we never even played past the first round of the wild card. Offensive play calling. Offense and offensive play calling. I'm not putting it on the line. Injuries are a part of the game. Offense. It is what it is. Keep that in mind. We was in prime position to win. All he had to do was throw a touchdown. And what happened? We called up. I'm gonna leave that alone. Y'all about to get this title. I got lost, y'all. I'm sorry. We gonna move on. We gonna flip gears a little bit. What we gonna flip the gears to is something I kind of hinted at last week, but you already know it. Jason Tatum is back, ladies and gentlemen. I know Mike over here was a little bit hesitant on it. However, Jason Tatum came back. His first two games came back, played some meaningful minutes, had 15 and 20 points respectively. So it does put, the Celtics in that title talking conversation. If we're talking about who's gonna be the person to upset not San Antonio, to upset the Thunder. So the question I like to pose is, with Taysom coming back, does this put the Celtics as the number one contender to upset the Spurs?
As far as the contender, as far as the contender, um, hmm, Spurs, Celtics. I think Tatum's gonna need at least a month to get back to his old self. I think that he'll be giving the Celtics that extra push. The Pistons, they tried to make some traction regarding putting themselves ahead of everybody else, but I think they didn't do a good enough job because the Celtics are right there. They kept their nucleus. And now, if you even get a 75% Jason Tatum, that's better than most offenses. So, yeah, um, there's a problem. There's a problem in Boston. As far as them being the Spurs, I still think that's going to be a thing. Spurs have a lot of um, tools they could use. Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, uh, even their rookie Dylan Harper. You name it. They have players that can play. They're well coached, well organization. They got everything that they need in order to win. As far as the Celtics, let's say the Celtics and Spurs played each other. Mm, I still would choose the Spurs over the Celtics. I think Wemby is still that player that changes everything on the court. You can't go interior with him because he's going to block everything. um, yeah, you can't go interior because he's going to block everything. You can't guard him because he's taller than everybody. So the as far as the East, yeah, they have a chance to do a lot, but I don't think they're going to make it to the finals. They may make it to the conference finals, but that's as far as I'll put them.
I'm gonna say that the team most likely to beat the Spurs. You said the Spurs, or are we saying the team's most likely to beat OKC? What was your question again?
The question is Boston the team that's going to shock the Thunder and be their kryptonite? So are they the team that's going to rise and beat the Thunder?
I don't think so. I think the best bet of a team to actually beat the Oklahoma City Thunder and stop them from repeating is probably actually in the West. To be honest, the Spurs would probably be the team that comes to mind in that capacity, just because they beat them for the NBA Cup. They've been competitive all season, etc. I think that the other team that comes to mind, sorry, would be the Knicks. I like the Knicks a lot. The Pistons are on a losing streak right now. Um, and I think that the Knicks, as a result, have a chance to make a lot of noise there. Um, but if it was up to me, the only team I really see that's really competing with OKC, like on a player to player basis, minute to minute basis, that could stop the run that SGA is on. SGA should win the MVP, by the way, over Jalen Brown, in my opinion. Especially if Boston is still, you know, looking great with Jason Tatum there. It shows you that he's not the key reason there. But I would 100% say the Spurs.
All right. Like I said, we don't know right now. Thunder and the Spurs are the only teams. I think they are the only. Nope. You got Thunder, Spurs, and the Pistons so far. The only teams that have less than 20 losses. Although Mike is correct, the Pistons does have a losing streak of 4 games. So that is something great to consider when thinking about that. All right. That's our whistle for today, but the game never really ends. Thank you for spending time with us, sharing your opinions, passion, and a love for the sports that goes a love for sports that goes beyond the scoreboards. If you like what you heard, subscribe, hit that like button, hit the share button, send it out to your friends. Again, we are on the road to 100 subscribers, currently sitting at 39 subs. So thank you to our subs. Until next time, stay competitive, stay curious, and keep loving the game. This